What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 9 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Eastern Europe and the Middle East. So, Ukraine is currently launching a massive retaliatory attack on Russia, and they are pounding the city of Belgorod, which is right on the border of Ukraine. It's just a few miles from the Ukrainian border. And this is in response to the massive missile attack on Ukraine last night and early this morning. And this was the second massive attack on Ukraine since New Year's Eve by Russia. Putin said yesterday that he was going to intensify his attacks on Ukraine. And shortly after he said that, Russia launched a massive attack on Ukraine. And looks like Ukraine is responding in kind tonight. So I have some fresh video footage to share with you guys from Belgorod. And it is really intense. This is probably the most intense attack on Belgorod by Ukraine since the start of the war. So I want to play this footage for you and you can decide for yourself, but this is really escalating, guys. The situation is escalating very, very rapidly. So in just a span of 14 seconds, you can hear multiple shells going off. So, guys, it's really escalating over there. Check this video out. Again, in a span of 14 seconds, a massive number of shells going off. I counted several dozen. It literally sounds like a war zone. It sounds like the front lines in Donbass, not Belgorod. Let me play that for you guys again. So in a span of 14 seconds, dozens of shells going off. Here's some more footage. And Russia is saying that they are actively fighting off a massive attack by the Ukrainian armed forces in the Belgorod region, and they're using their air defense. So, very serious situation tonight in Belgorod, Russia. And the Israeli military is currently in a high state of readiness, prepared for any scenario. This is what the Israeli military spokesperson said. And a senior Israeli official said Israel is preparing for a significant retaliation by Hezbollah for the Aruri assassination, including by launching ICBMs on targets in Israel. Okay, so this is huge, guys. Absolutely huge. Israel is on high alert. They're concerned about a massive retaliation because they assassinated the number 2 guy in Hamas, okay? And according to Israeli Channel 12, the planned visit of U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to Tel Aviv has been postponed and is now expected to take place no earlier than Monday, okay? So that is huge too. They're postponing Blinken's visit until Monday. They wouldn't do that for no reason. It means something is going to go down in the coming days. And Hezbollah officially threatens Israel after the assassination of the number 2 leader of Hamas. They say that they have the finger on the trigger. Hamas has announced the suspension of any further hostage negotiations or peace talks with Israel in response to the assassination of Salih al-Aruri in Beirut. And anti-tank and small arms fire is reportedly being exchanged between Israeli forces and Hezbollah forces near the town of Misgav Am on the border with southern Lebanon tonight. And Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh warned there will be repercussions after the killing of al-Aruri. He said the killing of al-Aruri is a violation of Lebanon's sovereignty and an expansion of the circle of Israel's aggression against our people. The repercussions of this terrorist act are the responsibility of the Zionist occupation, and it will not succeed in breaking the will, steadfastness, and resistance of our people, Haniyeh claims. So this was Haniyeh's right-hand man, okay? He got taken out, and Haniyeh is saying there's going to be repercussions. Hezbollah saying there's going to be repercussions. Hezbollah vows to respond to the alleged Israeli killing of Hamas deputy leader Salih al-Aruri outside of Beirut earlier this evening. We affirm that this crime will never pass without response and punishment, the Lebanese terror group said in a statement, claiming its fighters are at heightened readiness in order to retaliate. God Almighty concluded the career of this great leader with the highest medals of honor and dignity, and he obtained the martyrdom that he had long sought and longed for. Hezbollah says of Aruri, the terror group calls the Israeli strike a serious assault on Lebanon, its people, its security and sovereignty, and a dangerous development in the course of the war between the enemy and the axis of resistance, and that this crime will never pass without a response and punishment, and that this is a memorable day for what follows. Okay, so massive escalation is imminent, guys. And French President Emmanuel Macron has called on Israel to avoid escalation, particularly in Lebanon, following a strike attributed to Israel that killed Hamas's deputy leader in Beirut. The Elysee Palace says Macron, who spoke by telephone with the Israeli minister and war cabinet member Benny Gantz, says it is essential to avoid any escalatory attitude, particularly in Lebanon, and that France would continue to pass on these messages to all players directly or indirectly involved in the area, according to the French presidency. And the Houthis in Yemen reportedly launched 3 anti-ship ballistic missiles at a commercial shipping vessel this evening near the Bab al-Mandeb Strait, roughly 33 nautical miles off the coast of Eritrea, causing no damage to the ship or casualties. And here we have the official incident warning from the UK MTO. And you can see that it says here, UK MTO has received reports of up to 3 explosions 1 to 5 nautical miles from a merchant vessel in the Bab al-Mandeb, 33 nautical miles east of Asab, Eritrea. Master reports no damage to the vessel and crew are reported safe at present. And they released this at 1850 UTC time. So that was in the afternoon here in the eastern U.S. Look at these pictures, guys. This is where al-Aruri was taken out. This building right here completely blown apart, okay, in Beirut, Lebanon. Absolutely crazy. And Israel did not give the United States advance notice of the strike in Beirut that killed the Hamas deputy leader and several other members of the Gaza terror group. Walla News says, quoting a pair of unnamed American officials, an Israeli official confirmed to Walla News that Israel did not give the U.S. a heads up and notify the Biden administration while the attack was underway. Very interesting, guys. And the UN Security Council might meet as early as tomorrow on Wednesday on the situation in the Red Sea. The French ambassador to the United Nations, whose country assumed the council presidency, said on Tuesday it's likely the council will meet on the issue sooner, probably even tomorrow. Ambassador Nicolas de Riviere tells a news conference when asked about the international response to attacks by Yemen's Houthis on Red Sea shipping. He said the situation is bad. There is a repetition of violations and military actions in the area. So France is calling for a Security Council meeting at the UN tomorrow. And apparently, the U.S. military base in Deir ez-Zor in Syria is currently under attack by the Islamic resistance in Iraq. Those are the Iranian proxies in Iraq. So, another attack on U.S. bases. Turkey is blocking the passage of British mine hunter ships destined for Ukraine. Two British mine hunter ships destined for Ukraine will not be able to travel through Turkish waters. President Erdogan's Directorate of Communications announced on January 2nd, citing an international pact. Okay, so if you guys don't know, Turkey has a little strait that connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, and Turkey has the power to close that strait anytime that they want, according to an international pact that they signed many decades ago. And now they're blocking British mine hunters from entering the Black Sea, which is very, very concerning. And Ukraine's parliament is considering an alternate mobilization bill to the one proposed by the Zelensky administration. That was the one that called for 500,000 more troops to be drafted immediately. And Taiwan's military says a Chinese balloon has flown directly over the island. That was today. We also have an update on the earthquake in New York City. Apparently, there was also a 2.7 magnitude earthquake reported last night in the Washington, D.C. area. And I'm telling you guys, here in central Pennsylvania, we had an earthquake last night. I felt it. I felt my room shake a little bit late last night. And National Security Minister Ben-Gvir brushes off the U.S. State Department's condemnation of him and Finance Minister Smotrich for urging Palestinians in Gaza to be resettled outside the Strip. I really admire the United States of America, but with all due respect, we are not another star in the American flag. Ben-Gvir, who heads the ultra-nationalist Otzma Yehudit Party, said in a statement, "The United States is our best friend, but before everything else, we will do what is good for the state of Israel. The emigration of hundreds of thousands from Gaza will allow residents to return home and live in security and protect IDF soldiers," he adds. The U.S. State Department issued a statement calling out far-right Israeli ministers Smotrich and Ben-Gvir for recently advocating the resettlement of Palestinians outside of Gaza. This rhetoric is inflammatory and irresponsible, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller says in a relatively rare unprompted statement calling out a pair of Israel ministers by name. "We have been told repeatedly and consistently by the government of Israel, including the prime minister, that such statements do not reflect the policy of the Israeli government. They should stop immediately," Miller added. "We have been clear, consistent, and unequivocal that Gaza is Palestinian land and will remain Palestinian land, with Hamas no longer in control of its future and with no terror groups that are able to threaten Israel," the State Department spokesman says. "That is the future we seek in the interests of Israelis and Palestinians, the surrounding region, and the world," he adds. So very interesting back and forth there between some of these nationalist ministers in the Israeli government and the U.S. State Department. And this update was sponsored by Patriot Supply. Guys, Patriot Supply is doing a 60% off sale for the end of 2023. And they're also doing a 25% sale on their 4-week emergency food supply. To get these deals, you have to go to preparewithnYprepper.com. The link is in the description below this video. And their 4-week emergency food supply is contained within 2 rugged, watertight buckets. Free shipping is included. So you have a month's worth of food packed into just 2 buckets. If you have to bug out, you can easily take those buckets with you. If you live in a small apartment, you can easily find a space to store 2 buckets and you're going to be set for at least a month. And this food is freeze dried, so it has a 25-year shelf life. It includes breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks. And My Patriot Supply is also running a 60% off end of the year sale. And to take advantage of that, you have to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithnyprepper.com. It's at the top of the page. You click on that and it'll take you to their general store. And you'll see here all kinds of prepping and survival products. They have MREs, they have 2,400 calorie emergency ration bars, they have canned heat and cooking fuel, they have potassium iodide, survival seeds, solar generators, solar panels, anything you can imagine, it's all in here. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of their 1 month emergency food supply and to also take advantage of their 60% off sale across their entire store. And I'll leave a link in the description below this video. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders again calls for Congress to block billions in proposed military aid for Israel, slamming Israel's military campaign in Gaza following the Hamas's terror group's October 7 onslaught as Netanyahu's illegal, immoral, brutal, and grossly disproportionate war against the Palestinian people. Wow, guys, Bernie Sanders is just completely lost. That is really sad that he would say something like that. In a statement shared on Twitter, the progressive Jewish lawmaker from Vermont notes the ongoing war in the Gaza Strip was sparked by Hamas's barbaric attack, but charges that the Israeli response is grossly disproportionate, immoral, and in violation of international law. Enough is enough, Sanders says. The taxpayers of the United States must no longer be complicit in destroying the lives of innocent men, women, and children in Gaza. Wow, guys. Absolutely insane. And you can see here his tweet. He says, "Let me be clear, no more U.S. funding for Netanyahu's illegal, immoral, brutal, and grossly disproportionate war against the Palestinian people. Congress must reject any effort to pass $10 billion of unconditional military aid for the right-wing Netanyahu government." So that's what it's all about, guys. It's because he's right-wing. They don't like him because he's right-wing. The United States has reached a deal to extend its military presence at a base in Qatar for another 10 years. A source familiar with the matter tells Reuters the base in question is the Al Udeid Air Base, which is located in the desert southwest of Doha and hosts the largest U.S. military facility in the Middle East, the source says, asking to not be identified. So 10 more years in Qatar, that's huge. And 5 more countries have now joined BRICS. This is being reported by Bloomberg. Saudi Arabia, Iran, the UAE, Ethiopia, and Egypt have all joined BRICS. That is very, very concerning. And I want to just share some footage coming out of Ukraine. This was earlier today. The Ukrainian military shooting down some missiles with their air defense guns. Pretty cool footage here.
20 секунд в зоне. Yes! Yes! 20.
So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I will be back tomorrow with more updates. We have a lot of stuff going on, so I'm going to continue to monitor all these war fronts around the world, but looks like 2024 is off to an absolutely crazy start, and I think it's going to be really crazy this year, guys. I think we're going to see all these war fronts expanding in the Middle East, in Eastern Europe, China, Taiwan, the Korean Peninsula, Venezuela, Guyana, natural disasters, earthquakes. I think we're going to see a massive cyber attack here in the U.S. I think we're going to have a grid down cyber attack that's going to take down our grid. So make sure you're subscribed. Hit the notification bell below this video so you get notified when I post these updates. And before I go, I just want to share a channel with you guys. My buddy Duramax, he has 2 channels. He has Duramax News, where he does 24/7 live coverage of breaking news. He's live right now, actually. And he also has Duramax wildlife critter cams. And he just has some cameras in his backyard. He films some deer and different types of animals in his backyard in Kentucky. So check him out. I'll leave links to his YouTube channels in the comments section down below. Show him some love. YouTube has been giving him a little bit of a hard time for some reason. So show him some love. He needs to get his numbers back up again, and tell him I sent you. So have a good night, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.